If you're looking for a quick and easy sewing project, a scrap buster, or just a very practical little carry-all bag, I have the perfect pattern for you today. This is the Tokyo tie bag. It's a free pattern available online. I've left the link below so that you can check it out, print it out, and sew it along with me today. This bag is super cute, it's fully lined, and you can mix and match fabrics to create contrast between your main fabric and your lining fabric. There is only one pattern piece for this project, which makes it very easy to adapt if you would like to add length to your straps or add width to your main bag. I'm excited to share this project with you today. Let's get started. This pattern only includes one pattern piece cut on the fold, so you'll cut 2 from your main fabric and 2 from lining. Place your lining fabrics right sides together and pin both side seams. And then sew your side seams with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Press your seams open on both sides and repeat these steps for the side seams of your main fabric. Now turn your lining fabric right side out and slip it inside your main fabric. Now that they're right sides together, pin together your handles and upper edges, matching your seams on both sides. If you would like to add a button closure to your bag, you can use a little piece of scrap fabric. Mine measures 3 inches by 1.5 inches. Take it to your ironing board and fold it in half the long way, and then fold the outer raw edges to the middle to meet that crease, and give that a good press, and then fold that strip in half, and take it to your sewing machine and edge stitch these open edges shut. And then as you're sewing your main seams together, you can take your loop and fold it in half so that the raw edges meet. Slip it right in between the main fabric and the lining so that all of the raw edges meet and pin in place. Sew the seam as usual, and then when you turn the bag right side out, you'll have a nice button loop right at one of the middle seams, and then at the end you can attach a button to the other side of the bag for a nice closure. Once you've pinned both sides of the handles and the upper edge of the bag, it will look like this, pinned all the way around. And then you're going to sew all the way around your bag, basically in a giant loop with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, sewing all around the handles, the upper part of the bag, as well as straight across the upper part of your handles. Now we're going to trim the corners of the top of our handles to reduce the bulk, and do this for both handles. Now that I've trimmed those seam allowances down, we're also going to clip into these curves just to reduce some of the bulk there. I'm just cutting in little triangular shapes to the stitching but not through the stitching. And now we're ready to turn the whole bag right side out. Once it's right side out, push that lining into the center and use a chopstick to poke out the corners of your handles. Now take your bag to your ironing board and give the whole bag a really nice press. Now that my bag is nice and pressed, I'm going to lay my bag out so that my side seams now line up with each other. Now I'm going to pin the main and lining fabrics together through all thicknesses all along this bottom edge. Start pinning at the center seam so that all 4 seams line up with each other. Now we're going to take it to our machine and sew the entire bottom of the bag closed with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Note that this is your main fabric on the outside. Now that the bottom of my bag is sewn with a 1/8 inch seam allowance, I'm going to turn my bag inside out and use my stick again to poke out these corners. Now I'm going to give this seam a really good press. Now that it's nicely pressed and crisp, I'm going to pin this seam once more now that the lining is on the outside, and sew the seam again, this time with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And now you have a beautifully enclosed French seam on the inside of your bag. Turn your bag right side out and tie the tops of those handles in a knot. and you're all done with your bag. If you chose to add that button loop earlier, you can take your button now and sew it on the seam opposite that button loop at the top of the bag for a nice little closure right in the center. Thank you so much for watching this sew along. Make sure you check out my other videos for more great sewing projects for your wardrobe. I'll see you in the next video.